He can eat with his eyes. Krishna can eat with his eyes. He can smell with his fingers. So, being absolute, Shabda is no different from Krishna. Of course, it is the word that Krishna has spoken, or words spoken about Krishna. No difference. Absolutely no difference. So it's the origin. The origin is Krishna. Shabda is coming from Krishna. What happens then? Initially, the Shabda was handed over, or it was propagated by an authoritative source, a perfect source, speaking, and a student listening. But as time goes by, as the yugas go by, the condition gets more and more deteriorated. So that ability to retain diminishes. And which is why you had the Shastras. It was put in written format. So Srila Vyasadeva, who's the literally incarnation of Lord Krishna, he spoke and Lord Ganesha wrote. So we have these Shastras, which are these sacred texts. So Shabda comes from Krishna. It has been encapsulated in these literatures. And then we have the Guru. The Guru is nothing but a living Shastra. Shastra is the physical book also that we read. That is one Shastra. And the Guru is the actual living Shastra. He's the living Shastra because he embodies the Shastra. His entire thoughts, words, deeds, everything is exactly what the Shastra is all about. So the Guru, that's how it is coming to us. And then finally, you have a sadhu, a person who practices whatever is there in the Shastra. So this is what Shabda is about. Okay, we have the Guru, we have the sadhu, we have the Shastra, and the whole thing is coming from Krishna himself. Now, how do you tap into it? To tap into it, we need to have first and foremost humility. Humility is this aspect. In knowing much, there's not much I know. Sometimes we may have a sense of accomplishment or some kind of pride. Oh, I have a PhD. Oh, I can say the entire Bhagavad Gita by heart. Once a person came and told Prabhupada's disciple in New Vrindavan, he was very impressed. He came excited and he said, oh, Prabhupada, I can say the entire Bhagavad Gita in some 40 minutes or something, 45 minutes. Prabhupada said, okay, now live the Bhagavad Gita for 4 minutes. So the humility is that aspect when it comes to knowledge, that there's really not much I know. I'm the greatest fool. Arjun took that role. Arjuna was not a fool. He was self-realized. A self-realized person is not a fool. But he took the role of a bewildered person, a confused person, a person in anxiety. These are all things which are contraindicative to someone who's self-realized. A self-realized person has no anxiety. He understands what the truth and reality is. Anxiety only comes in a false situation through ignorance. So humility is something which we can, that's who we are. Our intrinsic nature is to be humble. But because of this mistaken identity, it has arrogance in its place. So the first step is when we're trying to understand spiritual topics, like what is our relation with Jiva and Krishna, we need to have a very humble approach. Be curious. That's why question answers are so important. Be curious. Curious in an attitude of wanting to know more, of wanting to learn. Not curious from trying to challenge. This is what I heard. This is what I know. How come you are saying like this? Prove it to me. Because if we are challenging, then what happens is just understand that our consciousness is like a container. And in that container, we are putting Divya Gyan, the spiritual knowledge is coming in. Now, if it is already full, What can go in? Nothing can go in. It will just bounce back. It will just overflow. It will just flow out. Nothing will go in. So this whole attitude we have is of wanting to learn, wanting to know. And the whole purpose, in the next slide you'll see, of knowledge is action. Like Krishna Nam, this is one of my favorite quotes. Krishna Namanand Prabhu has said, information is meant for transformation. So we need to be very humble. When we are humble, that's when it goes deep. That's when it goes really, really deep and doesn't remain on the surface level. So humility is one thing that we need. Then the other thing is we need a surrender. What does surrender mean? Is surrender is we're all used to doing things in a particular manner. Now there may be some adjustments which are required. So no matter whatever this Pratyaksha Praman and whatever Anuman Praman I have collected over these years, not this year in this lifetime, in my previous lifetimes also, whatever I've collected, I need to put it aside and say, this is what the scriptures say, I need to follow it. That is what surrender is, for which we require humility. If I think, no, my thing is right, this doesn't make sense, this is logical, this seems reasonable, we're really not going to get anything about the knowledge, and especially when we're trying to understand something like what is our relationship with Krishna. So that is surrender. One point to note is surrender with intelligence. Don't surrender your intelligence, Prabhupada had said. Doesn't mean just blindly. So that's where we have this question answers. Doubts are cleared. Points are explained better. It goes deeper. So surrender needs humility. And all this, as I said, you need to put it into action. And when it's going into some form of an action from the intellect, when it comes into act, at that point in time, the actual realization happens of things as they are. So we can say, Jivera Swarup Hoy Nityara Krishna Das. And believe me, it can be memorized. So much so that when we are deep asleep, someone comes and wakes us up and says, Jivera, we'll in our sleep say Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das automatically. But to actually know the essence, service, without service, seva, it is impossible. It is partial. What do we have? Half-baked. So when we get this, we can understand that there are 5 main relationships. 5 main relationships. Of course, there are innumerable relationships. Just look at the color spectrum. There are infinite shades. There are primary colors, and then you know how it combines. There are infinite gradations. So in relationship with Krishna, first and foremost, it doesn't matter what type of a relationship it is always in a servitor mode. This is what it means. Jivera Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das, serving. Das means servant. So the first one is neutrality, where it is awe and reverence of Krishna. That's the first type of a relationship and the lowest, if you put a hierarchy. Next is the Das, the servitor. After that comes friendship, like Arjuna, Shridama, Subala. Then comes parental, Vasudev Devaki, Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mai. That's the parental relationship. And then we have finally the conjugal, the paramour relationship with Krishna. Now, if you see in conjugal, all the lower ones are included. That feeling of parental, friendship, servitor, neutrality is included. And parental, friendship, servitor, neutrality, but not conjugal. In friendship, there's servitor, neutrality, but not parental and conjugal. Likewise, it goes. So here in our what do the Guru Sadhu Shastras say? Now, there are some people who straight away go into the conjugal relation and they imitate. That's a cheap imitation. Now, because of our conditioning, we have a certain relation, which is called that Swarup. We have a relation unique with Krishna, and Krishna has with us, and that's how it's reciprocating. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us has a unique relation with him. Now, that relationship is revealed to the level of our self-realization and surrender and that purification which is happening, where everything is for Krishna alone. Then we know in what relationship we are. But till such time we get onto that platform, Guru Sadhu Shastras recommend that we all come in this Das role. Das role is because we've been serving our senses since time immemorial. So start serving. And that's how the revelation happens, the purification happens. So we're all Das. Actually, we are Dasa, Dasa, Dasanudas, or Devi Dasis for the feminine side. So this is what it is, how we can understand and how we tap into our relationship with Krishna. Now that we know, we know what, why, next. What do? We have this information. So keep this little aphorism in your mind. Purpose of knowledge is action, not knowledge. We don't learn for the sake of learning. We learn so that we can act upon that knowledge. And especially when we are learning spiritual topics, we need to get into loving devotional service. That's what bhakti is about. It needs these three elements. Any one is missing. It's not bhakti, it is something else. Bhakti is defined as loving devotional service. What is love? My Guru Maharaj says, any living entity needs just two things, fundamentally, to love and to be loved. What is love? It is outward, it is giving. And service is the medium through which this emotion is expressed. So when you love somebody, you do something for somebody. It's not abstract in the mind. What is devotion? Devotion is undivided, total, focused attention. Tu hi tu, bas tu hi tu. Bas, there's only you, there's no one. Just you. That is devotion. And of course, there we see here also, even in the material world, people are so devoted. They're devoted to their jobs, they're devoted to this, they're devoted to that, which is a very nice thing to have, devotion, but it's misplaced. And eventually it will frustrate. Because everything over here, as Northcote Patterson had said, in the corporate world, all of us, given time, all of us rise to a level of inefficiency. And of course, seva. Always be in that attitude of serving, serving, serving. And service is unlimited. So when we have this knowledge, next is understand Aham Brahmasmi. Understand that means Nityara Krishna Das. With humility and obedience. What the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Vaishnav say, yes. Obedience, not convenience. It becomes thoughtful. We become careful. We become careful in our relationships with each other. The relationship we have with each other is the relation. It reflects on the relationship we have with our Guru. When our Guru comes in, or someone whom we are aspiring initiation from, how careful we are, how straight our tilak will be, how proper our kurta and dhoti will be, how humble we'll be in our walk, in our talk, how careful we are not making any mistake. How careful we are. What are we doing? We're putting up a show for Guru Maharaj. And when Guru Maharaj's program gets over and he goes back to India, how are we? Bindas. So where we have this humility, we have this obedience, how we behave with each other, reflects on the relationship we have with Guru. And please believe you me that we may think the Guru is not physically present, but this relationship is spiritual and it is not bound by constraints of time or physical location. He exactly knows what's going on in your life. He exactly knows what's going on in your heart. You can't hide anything from him. The innermost, deepest secret, which is there in the heart, he exactly knows what's going on. A guru is a very special person. He's an empowered person. He's Krishna's mercy representation. I don't know what's going on in your mind. You don't know what's going on in my mind. So we need to be very careful. And from this humility comes selflessness. It's no longer I, me, myself. We think more of the other person, that compassion is built. From obedience comes discipline. If I've taken a vow of chanting 16 rounds, there are days when I feel, oh God. There are times where even devotees feel, why did I take initiation? I just rushed into it. All this, and especially someone who is initiated new, Maya comes and attacks full force. She doesn't want to lose you. All second thoughts, second guessings, all these things happen. And it's not just for new, it happens even you could be 20 years, 80 years. I don't know how many ever years you're there. And we've seen people fall down. Why they fall down? Because they were not careful enough. They were not thoughtful enough. So here's what we do. And that's where we can actually understand this relation, this eternal relationship we have with Krishna. We understand the meaning. So what we discussed was how we understand the different methods of understanding, how we go about tapping into that through Guru Sadhu Shastra, what attributes we need to develop. It's already in us. There's nothing external or special that we have to do. All we are doing is we are uncovering it. Chetodarpana Marjanam. We're just cleaning it. The intensity of our cleaning, we can clean it very lightly, dust it softly, gently, or you can really scrub it, power wash. That's our choice. And that cleansing is the action. Where to cleanse, how to cleanse is the knowledge, but the actual cleansing is the seva. So this Prabhu's Mataji's is today's class. If anyone has a question, comment, any correction, it's open. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Okay, if no one asks questions, I'm going to follow my dear Sundar Achala. You know her popularly as Surabhi Mataji. Her style, I'm going to start asking questions. And my first question, I don't mean to put any one of you in a spot, but just to share your experiences and your thoughts, and it will help us also. My first question is to Nitya Leela Gaurangi Mataji. She recently got initiated. Mataji, how did you feel about initiation? Oh, Mataji logged off, or maybe she has a disconnected.
Prabhuji, sorry, while touching the phone, it got disconnected. Sorry.
It's okay. I thought maybe my question was so heavy.
No, Prabhuji.
If you can please share,
it got disconnected.
Now that you're initiated.
Yeah, Prabhuji, yeah. How do I feel, you asked, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a blissful feeling, Prabhuji. It's it's a different kind of. I was always feeling that I am getting mercy, but after connecting to Guru Parampara, it's a different feeling. To get, like, we really feel more mercy is coming through. We are directly connected, to Krishna. So I don't know what is exactly the difference, but it's a very nice feeling. So yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Mataji. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Then we see Mona Mataji. Mona Mataji, how did you come to Hare Krishna? And you're very regular. You come to the temple, you join these classes. So what was your journey like? How did you first get in contact with ISKCON?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My journey began in 2007. So I went to ISKCON Vrindavan. Of course, like my father was into Krishna consciousness through his best friend, he's in Nairobi. And they are initiated and they are disciples of Sri Radha Govind Maharaj and all. So my father always used to play kirtan in the morning and all those things. And I was a big bhakt of Shiva. So, I always and my best friend was also Vaishnava, and she believed in Srinathji, and she was also in Krishna. But somehow I was always no, Shiva comes first. And I was always, very adamant upon that belief and that faith for Krishna, for Shiva. And then when I went to New Vrindavan in 2007, I don't know, seeing the details, I started crying. It was so blissful. And especially when the kirtan and when they loudly said, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, I got goosebumps and I started crying as if I'm meeting my parents or I'm meeting, my very near and dear ones. That was the feeling. And then I don't know if you guys know, but if it, of course you all know, but there's a Lord Nrsimhadev's deity there, big deity. And I didn't know who he was, or I didn't have any much knowledge about it. But seeing him, at once my heart said, he's my protector, and I just felt I want to just go ahead in this. So I prayed to him. I was much behind in the crowd, but I just prayed to Lord Nrsimha that I want to go ahead in this journey, and I want to know more. And as soon as I stepped out, Shankarananda's Prabhu was there, and he said that, Mataji, why don't you join our Gita conferences every Thursday? So that's how I started into it. Since childhood, I was going to Swadhyay also from Pandurang Shastri, and we learned Bhagavad Gita. My grandmother always used to make us sit and recite all the shlokas and all those things. So I used to recite Bhagavad Gita. I had knowledge of the, but the philosophy was different, of course, because everyone has different aspect of teaching Bhagavad Gita. So, and then when I started hearing Shankarananda's Prabhu's Gitaji's lectures, I understood the philosophy in a way that I got a satisfaction that, this is a real science. It's not any philosophy, but it's a science. It actually gave me a logic that what is bhakti, what is devotion, what do you do in order to go near. And then I started, but I was always having a guilt feeling that, I don't want to live Lord Shiva because that's unfaithful of me, and how do I do that? And but then I was so much attracted to Lord Krishna, so it was kind of like such a situation. And then somebody, a very senior person came, and she was from Mumbai, and she had similar story, and she said her Guru Maharaj said that Har makes you meet Hari. That means Shiva makes you meet Hari,
Very nice.
So that's when I was guilt-free, and I started more towards Lord Krishna. And then in such a way that, I started getting more and more in contact with devotees, and that's where the journey began. And then my family also, my grandmother also got initiated through Bhakti Vikas Swami. So the entire family actually they gave me more understanding about the philosophy. So that's how the journey began.
Very nice.
And
Very nice.
so just continuing and just feeling very blissful with whatever mercy and with everyone's association. So
Please keep up the good work. That is the thing, association.
association, yes, Prabhu. So
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you.
My dear friend Jaiprakash Prabhu, I have a question for you. I see that you tirelessly engage in seva. And I remember from our early days when Savita and the Matajis, because, we didn't have kitchen, the whole story. But just for the others, in the early days, we didn't have any kitchen or anything. We used to make everything at home. Then slowly we got the Dwarkadish temple. They were very kind and they let us use their kitchen for the Sunday feast. So Savita and Gundicha Mata, they were in charge of the cooking. And it was just these two. And Jaiprakash Prabhu had just come. We used to be in the Edison First Aid Squad, that New Dover Road. That's where we used to have our programs. And I remember you celebrated Krishna's 16th birthday or something over there. And you also used to run a restaurant on Oak Tree, ending of Oak Tree. And one day we were making and we needed 300 puris or chapatis. Yeah, we needed 300 chapatis. So Savita's responsibility was to distribute it amongst the different Matajis, just a handful of Matajis. And, making even 20 chapatis used to be a task for Matajis, because no one has done that level of size, scale of cooking. So Savita called up Smita Mataji. She asked her that, Mataji, would you be able to make some chapati? She says, yeah, no problem. So she's saying, kitna karne ka hai? So Savita says, about 25. She's saying, yeah, I know. Tell me, how much is the total? So Savita says 300. She says, yeah, I'll do all 300. And it came like a shock that one person can do all 300. So both Mother Smita and Jaiprakash Prabhu, since those days till now, there has never been any task which is too big. Tireless, literally tireless. So Prabhu, what keeps you going? What makes you, if you can share with us, what makes you engage in this attitude? And I've seen you over these years, Prabhu. I don't know how long now, almost 20 years. Our bodies are all getting older, but that enthusiasm and energy is still the same. I see you, now you sit on the stool in the kitchen, hot kitchen, but still you're there. No excuses. So what keeps you? What drives you to do seva? That will help if you can share with all the devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Bo. Dandvat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
I don't know anything else. Only thing I know is the cooking through my family, because my mother had a business in India. So that's all I learned. And since I'm knowing it, what to do and how to do, and why not? Let's utilize for the service to the devotees.
So you're engaging your skills, what you know in Krishna's. But are there times when you feel that, oh, I'm really tired, but still you push yourself to come and do it? Or even you come every morning, literally, every morning, 4 o'clock, you're there in the temple for Mangalarti.
Well, my children always say that no matter how much you're tired, but if somebody will ask you to cook, you will get up from the bed and run. So I don't know what makes me going, but I love cooking. That's one thing. And like I said earlier, that that's the only thing I know. So let's utilize for serving the devotees. I guess Prabhupada was training me, or whatever that was going through when I was 5-year-old, starting helping my mom in her kitchen. I guess I was getting prepared to do whatever I needed to do in my life for the serving the devotees.
So nice.
Yep.
Dovetail. You're the example of dovetailing. All of us have certain likes, all of us have certain dislikes. We love doing something or whatever. But that same thing could be engaged in Krishna's service and just see the wonderful results. Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribol,
Bimal
thank you.
Prabhu, thank
Haribol,
you,
thank
my
you, sir.
friend. Bimal Prabhu, I remember you mentioning in one of our forums that you really are ecstatic while chanting. And I forget the Prabhu whose videos you were watching on chanting, and that inspired you. And the quality of your chanting has improved. So if you could share with the devotees about your chanting experiences, japa.
Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you. It was very wonderful. Prabhuji, today's class was very wonderful. All those Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, Prabhuji. So, what I should share is, so Govardhan Prabhuji, I always attend his Srimad Bhagavatam class and also Bhagavad Gita class. So Govardhan Prabhuji posted one small clip of that Prabhuji whose chanting lecture I heard. So there was a small clip. I liked that very much clip. Then I thought in my mind, no, I need to watch his all videos. That thought came in my mind. No, I need to watch this all videos. And then I started playing that video, and that the video was on chanting only. So it is all Krishna's mercy that he wants me to watch that video. And then I could realize there were at least, 8, I forgot how many videos, 8 to 10 videos were there, only on chanting. And he has basically detailedly talked on chanting only, how to chant, when to chant. And couple of things I remember from the video, he told very nicely, like, he was explaining, like one devotee, not devotee actually, one, he goes to a Maharaj, and he says that Maharaj gives him one instruction: take this glass of water and go for a mile and come back and see that not even one drop of water should spill over from the glass. So he obeys that. He told, okay, Maharaj, I'll do that. And he takes that glass of water and he goes for a mile and comes back. Then Maharaj starts questioning him. Did you see people fighting around, half a mile? People were screaming at you. No, Maharaj, I was completely watching this glass and I was completely absorbed in this. And then again he says, did you know that you crossed the puddle and came? No, Maharaj, I did not pay attention to that. So Maharaj says that is the way we need to be absorbed when you do chanting. We should not even worry what we are doing, what is going on around us. When we are chanting, we should be completely absorbed. Our soul should connect with the super soul. And also, Prabhuji, what happened is, for 1 year, basically, I was waking up early, definitely, 3:30 and all that. And I was basically following what was followed in the temple. For 4:30, I was doing in the house Mangala Aarti, and then Narsingh Aarti, then Tulsi Aarti, then Prabhupada Aarti. And then I was, first I was doing chanting, then this Mangala Aarti and all the Aartis. And then again I was chanting, and then attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, and then again doing chanting. So this was actually, I was not doing organized way chanting. Then someday what happened is I asked Krishna Prabhuji, I'm doing this chant. No, Mangala Aarti need not be done at 4:30. You can postpone your Mangala Aarti to 7:30. First finish your chanting. Don't pay attention to Mangala Aarti. Mangala Aarti you can postpone to 7:37. First concentrate on your full focusing on chanting. And what I should say, Prabhuji, that all, worked in so nice way that my chanting, I watched these videos, I then started chanting. Now regularly from that day, at least 2 months back, I started chanting. 3:15 I chant starting. By 5:45, my 20 rounds are done. Sometimes 22 rounds are also done. So now consistently, I'm so much happy, and when I'm waking up so early, I notice one thing, Prabhuji. Surabhi Mataji told us miracles. I see the miracle happening. I don't get tired for a second also, though I wake up so early. Not even second. It may be Ekadasi where I do Nirjal Ekadasi. I don't be tired for a second also. Whole day, night, 9:30 asleep, but I'm not tired at all. These are the miracles. And today's sloka you're telling, right? Arjuna was so realized soul, but he was feeling guilty that I treated you as a friend. Now I will tell us how Lord Krishna is merciful on us. I was not knowing Lord Krishna till 47 years at all. The Lord Krishna is supreme. And I was not praying to him, but he was so merciful. And he is helping us so much. I don't know how much merciful Lord Krishna is, right? I feel that he's every second around us, every second.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing this, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Maybe if we have time, we can continue this a little while more. Simeshwar Prabhu, if it's all right with you.
Absolutely, Broji. Wonderful, wonderful realization. Wonderful.
Thank you.
The way of devotees. Yeah, this is what is we need to hear, from everybody. So nice to hear from each one of you. How do we start at Krishna consciousness? How do we feel now? What is after the initiation? Wow, it's amazing, wonderful.
Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks to you. We all owe you so much gratitude.
Not at all.
I know you'll say not at all because that's what who you are. But
Krishna's arrangement, everything has Krishna's hand in it. We are all instruments.
That is true. But we all owe you.
Krishna should be glorified in each respect. Not really Krishna, Srila Prabhupada arrangement, Srila Prabhupada mercy. Well, I say that, right? We started this on the Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. So it's Srila Prabhupada's mercy.
We have Mother Gunjan. Gunjan Mataji, you're the same Gunjan Mataji with Madhav's mummy?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam always to Srila Prabhupada.
All to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, I see you and Vikash Prabhu and even the little, I call him my Laddu. Madhav. He's such a sweet child. God bless him. You are making flowers, Prabhu's in the kitchen. Whole family is engaged. Now, of course, you have a small baby. He must be, 4 or 5 years old. So how do you manage your work, whatever you're doing, raising this child and also engaging in service? How do you go about that? How are you managing it?
Yeah, Prabhuji, that's actually a great question. I asked the same question to myself. How am I managing it? And the only thing I understand is it's all Krishna's. It comes down to Krishna's mercy. I really don't know how I'm managing it. But because my son, he does not go to the daycare or any school right now. So he's just at home. And I also work, both of us are working. So, I don't know, and then cooking work at, at home in the kitchen. And there are lots of other things to do. So, I don't know, but it's just happening. I think it's all Krishna's mercy. The only thing is it's been a while, it's almost been 5 years since I've been working in my current company. So that since I have reached that position already, I know most of the project and I'm well versed with most of the applications, so I don't have to really put in a lot of effort. So when we switch the job, that, right, the first 6 months or a year, we have to really be there. Have you have to be really focused on that. But the thing here is since I'm also working from home, and that is kind of helping me a bit, so I'm able to manage everything. And definitely there is a cooperation and that suitable environment, as we all talk about, that favorable environment is needed, to progress in Krishna bhakti. So with Krishna's mercy, I have my Prabhuji, he's also with all his cooperation, I'm able to we are able to work, we are working together. And like every Fridays, I try to come and do a little bit of garland service.
Very-
I've started doing from last 1 year. Like actually, I don't want to even say that, because I'm a very like a neophyte, and like, very like a beginner in this Krishna's bhakti. Here I've seen Prabhuji, you and all the other people like Bimal Prabhuji and all other like Matajis like that I heard now, like they are, after listening to them, Jai Prakash Prabhuji, everyone, they are so highly elevated. I feel that, like there are a lot of things to learn from you all. So it's just from the association of all your like, Vaishnavas, when I listen to these classes, when I listen different discourses from Maharaj, like all those things, like, I feel so good. I learn so many things from that. And that gives me a motivation to continue in this Krishna Bhakti. So I'm really grateful to you, like Sameshwar Prabhuji, like, like all these classes, like to organize all these classes. And while I like, listen to these classes, I keep cooking or, do some other work. It's, I don't have any dedicated time where I'm really, doing like, worshipping Krishna, or like other than just doing the aartis.
So Mataji, do you think it would be correct to say what you mentioned, it is Krishna's mercy which is making all this happen? And then you also mentioned another important point is that you associate the Vaishnav Sangha, Mataji's temple devotees. So do you think that is what is causing Krishna's mercy to come to you, the association, or it is something else?
I feel that it's because of Krishna's mercy, I got a chance to associate with the devotees. And that's what is bringing a change in me. And, like, so that we are progressing in the Krishna Bhakti. Because ultimately, it's the Krishna's arrangement only. It's the Krishna's mercy only. Everything depends on that. That's how I look at it, maybe. Maybe it is actually, because even to associate with the devotees, we need to have some mercy from Krishna, right? Like otherwise the association doesn't come like that.
Yeah.
There are so many people who live in this, like, in the neighborhood, and like in our neighborhood, or so many people, like even if we tell them like, something about Krishna, or, if they come in touch with any of the Vaishnavas, how much do they really move forward and, like come into Krishna consciousness? So like, I think just like just to get even the association is like the mercy from Krishna, and to like get a change in ourselves is also like everything is Krishna's mercy. I just feel that. I don't know. You may correct me. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're saying the right things, Mataji, and it's just a good reminder, great reminder, that it's what they call Sukruti and Agyata Sukruti. There are these acts that we do knowingly or even unknowingly. And I think Simeshwar Prabhu was giving the example, we go Nagar Sankirtan, and someone even just passerby just hears the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just a person hearing it, he begins his journey back to Godhead. Someone who just sees also, someone whom you go and give a book to, Nitya Leela Mataji, such a nice book distributor. She just goes and gives the book, and someone even just holds it. He may not even purchase it. That happens. He may or may not realize, but that has started. The journey has started. So similarly in your life, at the mercy, something triggered it off. We don't know what triggered it off, but very important is that you're making the most of it. You're making the most of it. So please continue whatever you're doing. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank your husband also, please.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We have Sandeep Rudravar Prabhu. Prabhu, I'm not very familiar with you. Please excuse me, but I do see you join. Hare Krishna. Now I know you. Now I can associate the face with the name. Hare Krishna. So Prabhu, you also are a very regular person on these forums. Pretty often you come here. So what makes you decide to come here rather than, probably you come back from work, you would want to watch the news or just relax? What brings you to Hare Krishna.
Okay. Prabhu, I started coming to ISKCON in 2007 or so, to 2007. Basically, I went to Columbus, Ohio for my first job, and there's Mercy landed for living there nearby in the neighborhood of Temple. So that's how I started, going to Temple, and moved to New Jersey 2008. I used to come to MVCC. I saw you that time. In 2009 onwards, I used to come to MVCC, and then we moved there, Plainfield. So somehow not coming to temple regularly on Sunday from 2015 or so. But I used to go to Purnachandra Prabhu's Bhakti Vriksha. Then Purnachandra Prabhu moved to Florida, and could not go that time. On the Fridays also after that. But so I was getting these messages on the WhatsApp group. I don't know how my name was added in this group. So but in the pandemic also, I saw these messages were coming, but I was very busy with my work, couldn't give any time to really listen this. But then somehow I started looking, and I put an alarm on my phone, join exactly at after 7 o'clock, 7:05 or 7:10. So when the alarm beep, so I don't have to remember it. When the alarm beeps, when it alerts, I join the call. And listening to the glories always gives me happiness. In whatever best possible, I try to listen, Prabhuji. And I do like, and I won't say I understand fully all exalted personalities speaking the coaching, preaching, but however, whatever best possible, I try to understand. Everyone's analytical abilities are different, so I kind of think my understanding is a little poor, but after repetitions, repetition after repetition after repetition, so many people talking different things on different, at least I grab something, a bit of it I do learn. But whatever best possible, I try to join. So that's how I joined Prabhuji here. So I feel better actually to join the call and attend.
Thank you.
And it's in person. I don't have to take effort and drive and come to in person. It's free, and so so good, so good knowledge. And I just dial the Zoom, and the Zoom has helped me a lot. Online, everything I can easily just dial it, join the call easily. I think it's great, basically, probably, when it compared to the in-person, which is to go. So I feel very happy with the online one. And I do, I go for service I go for cooking once in month, third Sunday or so. Earlier I used to go for Sunday. So some service I do, not disconnected best possible. I try my best to have some connection. So yeah.
Continue the good work, Prabhu. Continue listening. The whole thing is about listening. And then listening, that's how we could put into action. Thanks for your seva. Mother Satyabhama, you're a joyful person. Whenever anyone sees you, you're smiling. You're blissful in Krishna consciousness. What makes you so happy, if you can share? Of course, we are all jivas. We are in the material world. So these ups and downs of material world is there in everyone's life to different degrees. But what makes you so much of utsa, so much of joyful, Mataji? What makes you do that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. And all pranam to everyone, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Last time also you asked this question, Mataji, Prabhuji, about this joyful. But after coming from India, I am not getting to that level, Prabhuji. Early morning getting up and chanting. So I don't know, but that may be because after my education, I didn't work. And then I was just thinking like my life is just gone wasted. Nothing, I didn't do anything. And then when I joined ISKCON and came to this our temple association of the church wonderful devotees. Just watching their faces, how like Krishnananda Prabhuji, Madhupati Prabhuji, Jai Prakash Prabhuji, all Mataji, Haripriya Mataji, and Gundicha Mataji, all these Mataji, Simeshwar Prabhuji. So I was just thinking how they are doing all these services and using their life for good cause. So I had to also do something. So because of association only, I think it's like Gunjan Mataji said, it's Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy is flowing, and we got this association, this wonderful congregation. And this, because of association, we are just connected to Krishna, like Guru. All these are Shiksha Gurus. Like every day we are learning from everyone different thoughts. So I think that is the reason, Krishna's mercy and association of devotees.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Now we have two more people, if we can, and we can bring it to a close. We have Savita, my dear wife, who incidentally is a major support in all my Krishna conscious activities from the early days to even now. And, you know, it is, I'm so fortunate that I have a partner. Mother Gunjan was mentioning that her husband is also Hare Krishna, and it's very supportive. So I exactly know what she feels when you have a partner. And we have so many QA sessions. After class, we discuss Prabhupada's life, we discuss operational things, we discuss so many things about Krishna consciousness. And that's how I can see how it helps my sadhana. Of course, I'm a far way away from what I should actually be doing. There's so much more I can do. But she's always been there encouraging me. So, Savita, what is your ambition in Krishna consciousness? She's in the other room.
No, I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were upstairs. Okay. See, she's always behind me, supporting me.
No, you're being rather generous in your compliments, but my ambition is to get even more serious. Unfortunately, due to my work schedules, I cannot do as much seva as I would like to in the temple. Hopefully one day, and hopefully with everyone's mercy, graduate to the next step.
So from the early days, Savita, from the early days where it was just a few handful of devotees in our Bhakti Vriksha, to today now that we have such a lovely congregation, such a lovely temple, deities, facilities. How does that make you feel? What do you think? How we have grown, and where we can grow? What else can we do?
It's a feeling of a lot of pride and pleasure to see how the community has grown and how well they've grown and how well they've carried forward Srila Prabhupada's mission. It makes me very happy to see how the congregation has really grown and how serious everyone is. What was your second question?
And where are the areas we can grow to? What more can we be doing? Like, what we started with, and today we are here.
We can definitely grow more. I think we need to have a greater outreach program to other communities. The mission which you all have taken now is also, I think, extremely important about keeping the temple clean, because we've been to, like, just to name one example is the, which is a temple on Swaminarayan. I mean, it's amazing how organized and clean that temple is. And I think that is something we can learn from them. And because especially when newcomers and outsiders come for the first time, or, it's the impression which is created. So I think those are areas of improvement. Our philosophy is, I've always been sold on the philosophy. That's what has kept me going from day one. I mean, the philosophy is, Srila Prabhupada has done us such a big favor. I mean, there are no words to describe what he has given us. But these other small, maybe cosmetic changes, if I may call it that, is something we can change. And I think we need to grow out. So we need to, outreach should be a little more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You've been in our family, you've also been the leader in leading things in Krishna conscious. So Hari Hari.
You have my dear friend Ashlesh. Prabhu, you're a deep thinker. I've read your book, and what really impressed me is how everyday common things you match it to Krishna consciousness. You dovetail that to Krishna consciousness. So like Jai Prakash Prabhu's love for cooking, he dovetails it as seva. That's what he loves doing. That's what he knows. And that's what he's doing. And your I've seen as a deep thinker, how you're able to connect seemingly completely material things, and how you try to put it into a Krishna conscious context. So Prabhu, if you can share with all the devotees this thinking, how to be smaranam. How do you go about thinking of these things? I really marvel, like, where you get these thoughts from, and, the economics and this and that. So if you can please share with the devotees.
Hari Bol Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So Prabhu, actually, I'm a very initial stage in Krishna consciousness. Actually, I came from the village. Actually, I have the house in Calcutta also. My grandfather's house also in Calcutta. In village also their house. I grown up in village. I see the in nearby home there was a Gaudium. There is a mott actually. There is a name. One of the Sant name was that one of the Maharaj. You can tell the Maharaj. He's serving the Radha Sam Sundar, Radha Krishna there. I have a friendship with him in the boyhood, but unfortunately I did not get the Krishna consciousness. That because of the that Bengali family, from the beginning they are worshipping various other gods, and family is not in Krishna consciousness. But I had a friendship, but that at that time I did not understand that Nam, the saint name is Haridas Dadu, Haridas Dadu. So he went back to Vrindavan and he died there. But later I realized when I came to the US after 2012, I came into this ISKCON, right? And later I realized that how marvelous that person, a saintly person was there. But I missed the opportunity that time. By Krishna's grace, at least I came to this process. Yeah, so thought always from the beginning from boyhood. I always, I generally, I wrote something, I wrote poem, a lot of mundane poem also. I can write also right now, but I write right now. I am not writing any mundane poem. So, so that type of imagination I have already from the beginning. I can see the sky. I can the small in the in the childhood. I can see the sky, but unfortunately, in the middle of my life, my father's died earlier
Mm.
on the ground. So that breaks me, and everything already everything all become the chaos everything. So somehow that's the different thing. But yes, how can I think this, and how can I want to bridge the Krishna consciousness with the Krishna. I know that all the devotee, all the Simeswar Prabhu is a pure devotee, and you also pure devotee. All the exalted Vaishnavas here. I know that I am not. I'm the dust of them. That is correct. But I want to. I have an idea to how to bridge that practical world, means these subjects and others, with this Krishna consciousness. That way, whoever not in Krishna consciousness, they can relate themselves in this world. Generally, the general people, they thought about the science, so-called science. Maybe there is a lot of flaws there. So-called science, they can understand science language. That's why I try to bridge this thing that way. So that way, at least they can understand the formula. Hi, this is the scientific formula, but they don't know. They don't know. This is all everything. Everything come from the Vedas or Gita and Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the mind blowing, right?
Mm.
So mind blowing. So that is the one of the reason, and that way, at least they can see that there are benefits from that this thinking by this idea. They can come to this Krishna consciousness. They indirectly, maybe directly or indirectly, they can practice the Krishna consciousness because of that. So
Very
that
nice.
is, yes, that is the idea, Prabhu. And yes, practical way you can give the benefit. That suppose say one thing I can tell you, one idea I can share with you right now. Don't take it other way.
No.
So say that if you apply these things, if you benefited in economically, forget about the spiritually, benefited economically, you can apply this process and benefited economically, then people get the direct effect, right?
Mm.
Materially. So that way, indirectly they are, the process they are following, Krishna conscious or spiritual process they are following indirectly also. So that way they get that. So that effect will work in society and whole
Yeah.
the country. So
I see
that
where
way,
you're going with that. I can follow your line of thought, because even in
yes.
Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 4 types of people who come to me. People who come for some material gain, profit, people who are in distress, people who are inquisitive, and the person who's a self-realized soul who's continuing his journey back to God. So yeah, for some material gain. And if that's the starting point to attract them to Krishna.
And you
Very
know
nice.
that in this material world, most of the people are material, right?
Mm.
So they want to see the direct impact.
Mm.
Direct impact. Not the all are not the in Krishna consciousness, right? We may know something but not others. But if they get it and go through this process, at least in the end, they will come to this spiritual process and come to the Krishna consciousness. So that is the idea, Prabhu, and other things in these thoughts also you can see that total. I have a lot of idea, Prabhu. I can share later. I have a lot of idea.
I just you keep writing it in a book like you do. And I think what you're doing is a great service. It's Yara Dekhe Tara Kaho. You're just thinking of innovative means of reaching out to people. So thank you for this, Prabhu.
Yes, yes. So that's the reason, Prabhu. That's the last point is that people here don't understand. Don't. If you see, if you talk about the Gita and other things, they thought that this is the Hindu religion and other religion. If you talk about the same thing in the through the science, oh, this is the scientific thing. They are thinking. so so that's the idea, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. All that you're doing. Hare Krishna. Appreciate
Hare
it.
Krishna.
And last but not the least, how they say, na, after you have a nice big buffet, then you have the the final. My dear Simeshwar Prabhu, my question to you, Prabhu, if you can share. I personally know how much you do. It's not just organizing, and I know what goes behind organizing every day. Speakers, there's so much of coordination. Not only that, all the activities as a leader of ICNJ, the temple responsibility, the yagya responsibility, the book distribution. It's like so much. There's so much that you do. Of course, you'll say you're doing nothing, but we know what you're doing. So how is it, Prabhu, that you stay grounded and not let it affect you? Because that sense of ego can always creep up, and Maya is so clever that even when we are doing acts of devotional service, she can, insidiously worm her way through in, and then we start feeling, array, see how much I'm doing and how much I'm progressing. So how is it that you remain grounded and humble? If you can share with us, we can learn that.
Jai, thank you. Put me in the spot. Thank you, Guruji. Yes, it's thank you so much for bringing all these wonderful discussions, realizations, and from each devotee. I don't feel that I'm humble, Guruji. I don't feel at all I'm humble. I'm feeling that I'm not humble. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to explain that. Am I really humble? I'm not sure.
I think so. And the reason I say you're humble is through your actions, Prabhu, through your words. You've never ever said, this is how much I do, this is what I do. This is because there are times where people, of course, different devotees at different stages, they make it known what they have done and how much they have done.
I think maybe
from you ever say that? Never. And we'll go back a very long time.
Yeah, maybe my mother was very affectionate to the everybody. Like when I was a child, I still remember that if anybody comes, like begging alms or somebody likes that, my mother called them inside and feed them, and I was seeing this one. And since then, I was also developed that kind of quality that no matter what, I should help everybody. Even I since my childhood, I feel that if I say something to others and if somebody hurt or somebody feels bad, that is my greatest kind of bad feeling. So I should not that the way I should help them. I should not even speak anything that which others should hurt, or in my action, or in my attitude, or in my way. That I always am very careful about that, in the sense that others should not feel anything bad about because of me. So then my mother is, I get into a lot of trouble with that as well, because my mother says that it should not be like that. If somebody says something to you, you should also say something back to them. But my nature or attitude is not like that. Okay, somebody says something or somebody. So I think that from my that from the childhood experience probably that I developed, and even when I grown up or growing up, I was trying to help everybody. I was trying to collect, gather everybody, and I personally go out for help the people. Like I was part of an organization. Even I myself, when I was in college, brought up together the people to help, like club, associations. When I was a child, I was secretary of my club, and I was going around and preaching and speaking against this drug addiction, like non-alcoholic and this kind, child organizations, kind of things like that. Balajana scheme, likes that. And I think that I developed that from my childhood, and that's part of my nature, that helping others. I mean, no matter what. And I was also, part of an organization, and we were giving the scholarships to the children, and we personally go out and collect the funds to help the poor. And I personally climb up to the roof, to make their roof, proper, and make their roof with this, this coconut leaves and poor people. And I was since childhood, I was seeing this, the people, those who are suffering, and I was very compassionate to them. And wherever I feel, you know, people comes to me or something like that, whatever I have, I would give them. And I remember when I was in Mumbai, and probably when I start from the journey to the one end to another end, whatever the money I have, in the train, that the people come, that empty, pocket will empty, and still I do that. Anybody comes on the train, whatever I have, it give. It doesn't look at it whether it is $1, $5, $20, $50. Whatever I get, I give them. I think that kind of attitude, or that I developed that. Even one point of time when I was in college, I was, when I saw this Charities of Mission, Mother Teresa, we had some kind of people there. I was about to join them, to so that I can help people. So this, I don't know, somehow that it got into my nature since my childhood. And I was a kind of a social person. What was my one of the main activity was social activities, going out for all the charity work and cleaning the school, or going out and cleaning the roads, getting all the peoples together, and all those things. And yeah, that since my childhood I got into that kind of habit and attitude, that help others. And no matter what will happen to you, I think I get more what is called the happiness and or satisfaction, I would say, satisfaction, than I do anything for myself. So that's kind of becoming nature. So then I don't feel that I'm doing something, or I'm something doing or anything. Even we know that some situations we have Bhakti Risha now. I started the Bhakti Risha on 2007. We were initially few people, and we were actually, we never cared about that. I'm not say that cooking or going out for cooking or cooking for the people or anything like that. Even now, like I always, I think, let me make it short. Yeah, the thing is that that somehow I got that kind of do something for good for others, not for yourself. That's the way you can. I think that is there. So I don't feel that I'm doing anything. Sometimes, some days, goes that, oh, I didn't do anything. It's kind of feeling bad. But when it comes to Friday, there is Bhakti Risha, people are there, go there and help, and Saturday, and helping here and going there, and Sunday is there, and evening, when you come over here. And but other time I feel, oh yeah, I'm not doing anything. It's kind of, yes. I mean, I don't feel that I'm doing anything, but I think it's part of my nature that kind of I got that connection since my childhood, that to help others, and
Very nice.
all the way.
All glories to your mother. Prabhupada said,
Of
from
course.
good trees come good fruits.
Yes,
Very
yeah, I mean, that's where I started really, I felt that, when I still remember, few people, older people with a beard, and they're kind of weak. When they call them inside and feed them, and when they have that satisfaction and their smile on their face, going back with such a good, I still remember that. So I think that's triggered that, if you do something others, that can give wonderful results, rather than you just. I don't like at all. When I feel such people, they're selfish and self-centric. when I kind of as in what it is not that kind of feel that you get. But yes, I mean, I think that yeah, so that is there. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, actually, this is the first time I spoke any of these things in.
No, what you're speaking is also Seva Prabhu,
Yes.
because
First time, in my life, I never I don't not to boast or say something.
No, you're not
I do
boasting.
that. I do this. I do this. No, it's not that. But
You know
he
it.
asked for that. Yeah.
Please don't look at it this way. Look at it as Seva, simply because whatever you said, all of us, 10, 12 people here now at 11 on the call, it's helping with our sadhana and our practices. And each person, whatever is spoken, is not out of boasting or anything, but sharing. These are life experiences, and somehow or the other, somewhere, maybe not today, we'll be able to connect, and it will come to help us. And immediately, what you were saying, it just was an awakening for me, Prabhu, when you said, I feel satisfaction when I do this seva. I feel satisfaction. And I just thought, a person who feels satisfied doesn't, satisfaction, a person who has satisfaction doesn't need recognition. He already has that. And if you don't need recognition, there's no need for you to go and tell the whole world that, so much I'm doing it. And so that's some important lesson I learned personally.
And also, I think it's helped me like a lot when since my childhood, I was more into this devotion. I mean, my mother was very strict on evening time when I was a child, or whatever. It's our kind of responsibility that do the devotion service, chanting the holy name, and every evening do the puja, and so many things. That deep rooted to some extent to understand more and more. And even when I was 7 years old, something like that, I read Bhagavad Gita. I was by hearting Bhagavad Gitas and this all those things. And I was personally reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Even people used to call me to their home. Morning till evening, I was just nothing but just reading Srimad Bhagavatam versus Kantas. I used to sit at home and reading Bhagavad. I mean, since childhood, I mean, that kind of deep rooted that means, I mean, it's quite important that if the childhood that what we get into our heart and the mind, probably that may also stay there for some time. That stay there. That too, we do this and be in the same path of be there. And yeah, I mean, once I feel that, I mean, I cannot live without association of devotees, or I cannot live. I cannot breathe actually. In any moment. If a week I don't have association of devotees, I would go like I'm very weak. I can't do anything. It's kind of feeling I'm kind of sad and disappointed or something. Whatever we say, like like my heart will beat like anything. It's kind of kind of. I think that because of thing that been because of you have that what is the high level of that association, right? When you have the devotee association, your heart is filled with joy and bliss, and especially devotional services. But when you don't have that one, you feel that that separation. You feel that it's not there. So yeah, that's all making us moving things. That yeah, we should do it at any moment. That it should not dry out. Anyway that. Yeah, I mean, this all helps, very much, in all our association and wonderful services, each and every one of you that doing, that's great. And, always we should, remember devotees are not ordinary in this world. And the devotees, whoever even chant, takes the holy name, they are very, very, Krishna's mercy there and Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's, picking up those devotees. It's very wonderful that we have such a wonderful devotees association just by
Hari,
association. Yeah, wonderful,
yes,
wonderful.
so, yes, so I want to share about the Simashwar Prabhu.
No, please. I think it's too much. It's
Yes,
already been discussed, Lord Prabhuji. I think it's.
just
But go ahead,
one
Ashish
thing
Prabhu.
I want to share, Prabhu, that I ever seen like this devotee. I mean, quite a few devotee I've seen like Simeshwar Prabhu. He said, whatever he talk, he's doing that thing actually. He's like that Bhagavatam, person Bhagavatam like that, and his behavior, everything is reflecting as a pure devotee, reflecting. I've seen that, Prabhu, and
That's no. I think it's too much. Too much. Don't
no,
take
no,
it to
Prabhu,
that. We are not even 1% of whatever we may say that.
but whatever I've seen that, Prabhu, your behavior like a real devotee, Prabhu. So you are not angry with anyone. You are not everywhere. Every I've seen that you dealing with the people very nicely. You understand people.
That's
That
very important. That's very, very important that we should, each and every one of us, especially, when we deal with the devotees, each and every person in this world, I don't see that, than inferior to anything that, always, we should have that, no matter what, everybody,
yes.
yeah,
And now
sometimes.
yes, Prabhu, now I understand that if from the beginning your childhood you read the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also. That means you born as a devotee, Prabhu.
Yeah, I was going to the Sunday school and by hearting the Bhagavad Gita verses, and I was very small, like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, all those. And yeah, I was reading a lot of books since my childhood.
And we are very fortunate, Prabhu, with you and other exalted devotees.
Yeah, I mean, mercy of the Lord, I believe, you know, of course. And my parents, especially my mother, was very keen on, doing good to, and every day, very, very particular about it, very strict on. So I think we should be very strict on our children that, they learn, they engage in the devotional service in the childhood, and they'll be there forever because of they develop that taste in their childhood. Then they don't want to leave that taste, around their life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Sharing your hearts. It's really, really helpful. Thank you. And Prabhu, we can bring
Oh
this
yeah.
to
You can close it. Yep.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
So thank you so much, dear devotees. It was wonderful because of many times we speak. Today we could, everybody, we could hear from you. That's a greatness of, that's
But
most pleasing
we did
us.
not, but Prabhu, we did not hear from the from Amindanandan Prabhu.
Oh yeah.
Next time, now it's already 9 o'clock. So next time I'll tell you my story.
Sure, Prabhu, sure, no problem.
Yeah, please. That's great to know, great to hear, and definitely this is really helps. I mean, I hope it helps in everybody's life. That how we can more progress each and every day in our Krishna conscious life. Yeah, I mean everybody's realization talks volumes of books. Even though it just spoke little, but it spoke volumes of books that reveals that the greatness of the devotional service. Thank you. Please keep continue that, and then it always helps, and it always helps. There's no doubt into that. So thank you, Amrudan Prabhuji, bringing up wonderful discussions, wonderful podium that everybody is shared their heart. Thank you so much. If there is nothing else, then let's conclude. Anybody else has anything to add? Okay, so let's conclude. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patinaam pavanebhyo
Namo Namaha.
Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, the Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Gauri Premanandi, Hari Hari.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amrudananda Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare